Hey guys, welcome if you're new and welcome back to my channel if you're a Mai baby, period. Okay, so today's video is going to be none other than well, we're going to be touching up on, you know how I had the episode 1 and 2 of living with narcissistic people, or people with narcissistic tendencies. Well, we're finally going to be able to talk about episode 3, which is the next point in my life where I talk about my relationships. Because in the beginning, I started with introducing my living with narcissistic people and points in my life that I've experienced living with narcissistic people, such as when I was younger, childhood, when I was a teenager / adult, mini adult, being with my boyfriends, my 2 boyfriends in the past, and then now as of currently. So that's gonna be episode 4, but I don't know when I'm gonna release episode 4 just yet, but I am finally able to release episode 3 in this video for you guys because it's been officially 2 years since my first ex has passed away. RIP to him. I did say I wanted to give his family at least 2 years to mourn or heal from his death. I mean, you can never heal from a relative's death, but this is my pain, my story, and I should be able to share it. But I just wanted to respect them and give them at least 2 years before I even speak on it. I mean, since me and him, we separated in 2020, so it's been 4 years since I've last been with the man, because I left him May of 2020. But because he passed away 2 years later, on August 7th of 2022, I decided to give them another, 2 more years to, mourn their son or their cousin or whatever, brother and stuff. But I am very happy that I'm able to finally speak on this topic. So let's just dive right in and talk about it, right? Period. Okay, guys. So I did make I think 7 main talking points for this particular video. The first talking point is I was going to start from the beginning, how we met and how it all started. So when I was 18, I ended up moving out of my mother's house a month after I turned 18. I turned 18 March 8th of 2018, and I became eager to leave my living situation. I wasn't happy. I was working. I would go to school. Like, I was a high school student, did 5 periods in regular school, and then I would get on a bus, and that school bus would take me to Metropolitan Community College, because I was a part-time college student as well. So my senior year, I was both a high school student and a college student, and I would talk about that backstory of why I qualified to do that and what was the reason. Clearly, I was not challenged, so they decided to put me in college anyways. In the beginning of my high school year, freshman year, they wanted to skip me to do part-time college, part-time high school classes, but I told them I'm only 14, I'm not ready. And then within that year, I turned 15, and then that following school year, so my sophomore year of high school, they asked me, do I want to just drop high school altogether, graduate at 16 from high school, and then go to college? And I told them I don't want to do that, because by the time I was a sophomore, I had all my credits to graduate. I didn't need to be in school anymore. I decided I didn't want to go ahead and be a college student, because I was only 16. I'm a little kid. I was like, I want to be a kid. Like, I've never been a kid in my life. I've always been an adult. And even though I was still being an adult at that moment, I just didn't want to skip high school and go straight to college, because that's just crazy to me. I kind of wish I did do it, but I digress. So it got to a point where my mother was unappreciative of my work ethic. I was going to school and going to college, and right after college, I was walking to McDonald's from my school, walking to there, and she would pick me up in my own car. She was controlling me, how I could use my vehicle. She wouldn't let me drive my car by myself because I had a permit, but legally I could drive my car in Nebraska with a permit as long as it's not 9 p.m. So to me, it was like, you're not even trying to let me get my license. Of course, after 2 years later, I ended up speaking to her about it, and she said it's because of the very fact that she wasn't ready to let me go. Which makes sense, but she went about it the wrong way. And after that, I ended up, you know, moving out and going to the shelter, the Yes Shelter, Youth Emergency Services, so shelter. And from there, I gained my independence, and I was very happy. My aunts, I think after like 3 months of me living there, my aunt found out that I was at a shelter. She was very upset with my mother. My mom and my aunts got into it, big old argument over me, because my aunt was very mad. She was like, if you didn't want her living with you, why didn't you tell me? She could have lived with me. She got family here, and I do. I'm so grateful. I have a lot of family in Nebraska. I'm always like, I never think about like asking my family for help, because I'm always so independent, and I never want to bother anybody. I never want to be a burden to anybody, so I never ask anybody anything. And I have my aunt's number and stuff like that. I just never reached out, because honestly, I didn't want to embarrass my mom in the community, because in the Somali Bantu community, it's very like, anything you do can be considered as an embarrassment to your family and your parents. And I will touch base on the community and how things are all fucked up in another video. So I'll capture after I'm done with the narcissistic living with narcissistic people chapter. I'm gonna move on to the next chapter of being a Somali Bantu girl living in America. I'll do a whole series on that. But basically, it was frowned upon for a girl to live by herself, for a girl, like anything, like your mom or dad could be abusive to you, mentally draining, ungrateful, all that stuff, and they can still get away with it within the community because of the fact that they're your parents, and you just gotta deal with it. And so my aunt was very mad. They got into it, and then finally my aunt was like, she reached out to me. She was like, I have an apartment that your uncle uses whenever he's in town, because he's a truck driver. You can go ahead and move into that apartment. I'll talk to him. I mean, me and him are not on talking terms right now, but I will talk to him for you, which to this day I'm grateful for. Like, I love my aunt to death. I love her so much. She was always a big sister to me. So to me, although she is biologically my aunt, I've always seen her as my big sister, and I've always wanted her to be like a big sister to me. So it was really nice to have that support system at that moment. So she ended up getting me a car, giving me one of her extra cars, because she had multiple cars. She gave me one of her cars that she wasn't using. It was just sitting in the parking lot. So she gave it to me, but she had me, you know, get on the highway and see if I know how to drive before she gave me the car. And then I ended up getting my license like 3 months later, because I was a procrastinator, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm so happy I got that out of the way. So she gives me a car, she gives me a job through her job, and gives me an apartment. So now I have a full ride to college. I'm a freshman in college. I'm living my best life. I have my own apartment. I'm happy, and I meet the guy. Talking point number 2. I met the guy at the shelter, because not while I was at the shelter, but a month after I moved out of the shelter. I'd say June. And then he ended up, I guess, after I left, since there was space left, there was a spot open, he ended up being able to move in. So he ended up moving in my position. But the only reason why I knew that is because I had my best friend, Leo, at the time. But they don't go by Leo no more. They go by some another name, so I don't need to say their current name. I don't need to not say their name, because they go by a different name anyway. They change their name to something else. But so Leo was still at the shelter at the time, so I ended up always driving there, because my best friend was there. You know what I'm saying? My best friend still lived there, and I know how it was depressing it was living in that shelter. Even though they helped us and they took care of us, stuff like that, it was still depressing, and all the rules and regulations, which I understand was for our safety, but it was just like too much, especially for the kids who are good and who aren't bad. I'm not saying all kids are bad, but like, you know, there's certain kids that need extra help, and there are some kids that you could just trust and let them be. But you know, I digress. So I ended up going to the shelter to go meet my best friend all the time. And one of the times I ended up stumbling with whatchamacallit, my ex, my first ex. We're gonna call him White Boy. Let me stop. But no, seriously, White Boy. So the white boy, because he was white. So the white boy ends up like, I'm picking up my best friend, and my best friend's like, she was talking about how this black guy was her African American man, was their boyfriend. And by that time, they went by she, her. So she was like, this is my boyfriend. Can he come along? I was like, of course, yeah. So the boyfriend came into my car. My best friend was in the front. The boyfriend came in the car. And then this white boy, he's like, can I come with y'all too? I'm bored over here. And I'm like, you can't come in my car. I don't know who the fuck you are. And my best friend starts dying. They're like, oh my God. Like, they're like, you ain't gotta be mean like that. And I'm like, I don't know who the fuck this person is. They're not coming in my car. They're like, I don't care. Period. What? So, I guess the next time I came around, I was like, fine, you can come in this time. So this white boy comes in. He got this like pinkish. If I go through my Snapchat story, my Snapchat saves, I could find the video, but I'm not gonna do that because that's just doing too much. But he had like this purple. It's like purple and then he had blonde hair basically, but he had the purple hair. And it like graduates to pink. It was just stupid. But he was in my room. My best friend went into the, because I had a 2-bedroom. My best friend went into the other room to do you know what I'm saying, do the do with her her partner. And I was like, go ahead, have your fun time. Because whenever they came over, they would do like a little F session, and then we all hang out together. So after they did their thing, while they were doing their thing, I was in the room with so and so, and then I guess this other girl also came along. She had a huge crush on the white boy, and I was like, go off, period. But that was the third time that he came to hang out with us. The second time, the first time, it was just me and him. We were chilling in my room, and I was like, ugh, I gotta take one for the team. I gotta deal with this boy for the team. Ew. So I'm dealing with my ex, the white boy, and we're chilling, having a good time or whatever. It was good vibes. And then after I met that boy, everything just went to hell. I mean, he became obsessed with me, and I don't know what it is with me, but men always become obsessed with me, and they can never just let me go. And it's kind of fucking scary. I'm not even gonna lie, like, that's very scary to me. So he ends up wanting to see me all the time. I give him my Snapchat. Yeah, I gave him my Snapchat, and then he got my number after my Snapchat. He would blow me up. I told him I'm actually when I first met him, I was like, I'm in a relationship with somebody. It was a long distance relationship. I was in a long distance relationship with the light skinned boy, and he lived in Toledo, Ohio, and I lived in Omaha, Nebraska at the time. So it's 2018, and I'm like, I can't do this. I was like, I can't do this. You need to chill. You know, that the girl right there, she has feelings for you. I'm still in love, like, not in love, but like infatuated by this light skin. Like, we still working shit out. He ends up bombing that whole thing. He ends up sending him, cause me and him, we took a break. Me and the light skin, we took a break. Me and D took a break. So D was like, you know, trying to get back with me, and while me and him were separated and we weren't dating no more, we like actually fully broken up. While we were broken up, he was on some other girl, and I was on the white boy. Cause period. So that being said, white boy ends up sending screenshots of our conversation to D, and D says, you know, F you, D. You know what I'm saying? And that died. He later on, I don't know, from that point, everything went crazy. It was like a blur to me. I didn't know what the hell was going on. He basically forced a relationship on me. After the relationship happened, I was like, I need to find a way to, I was like plotting a way to get out of the relationship. But then my family ends up getting into this relationship. I mean, this boy was talking, calling me, blowing me, and sending me recordings. That should have been my first red flag. Well, my second red flag, because the first red flag is sending my partner that I'm trying to get back with screenshots of our conversation, like, what is wrong with you? You need help. And then not only that, you calling me, like, I wish I was still cool with my little aunt, but she was literally right next to me. He was calling me, girl. He was 7 days and 7 days and 6 nights. This boy was blowing me up, blowing my phone up, y'all. Talking about, you don't understand, this could be something so for real. Because I was homesick, so I'm like, I was staying at my grandma's for a week. So I was like homesick, and this boy's like, you don't understand, this could be something for real. Like, this could be something real, like, this could be a real relationship, this and that. he manipulated me, and I was like, okay, fine. And my little aunt was like, girl, you better not give this boy a chance. He sounded like he was a crazy man. I didn't listen. Then my life went to records. I'm not gonna go into much detail on what exactly happened after that, because I'm gonna do a whole separate video talking about just specifically this relationship. But he ended up somehow moving into my apartment, and my family finds out. They forced us to get religiously married. He was already thinking about becoming Muslim for me anyways, so that was not a question anyways. But I wanted to teach him about the religion before we got married, or before anything happened. But in the Somali Bantu community, a boy and a girl that aren't married cannot live together. They have to be married. And so they had us get married. We got religiously married. I got married religiously, not legally. So for me, I've never been married. That's how I'm gonna say it, because if it wasn't legal, it never happened. Period. Okay. Period. But I did have the ring and everything. I had my diamond ring and everything. That was the only marriage. That was the only relationship that I ever had a ring. He proposed to me before that crazy shit even happened. So I already had my ring before my family found out. So we ended up being married and stuff, and he ended up moving in, living with me, and this boy just makes my life go to hell. My family they pull all their support away. My aunt stops paying my certain bills for me. My uncle stops paying certain bills for me. My dad stops sending me money to go shopping with. Like, I was a spoiled princess. I had a full ride to college. I lost he crashed the car that my aunt gave me, so it was hard for me to go to school, keep up my grades. And then I got pregnant with my twins. He got me pregnant with my twins. I miscarried, clearly, but before I miscarried, I ended up dropping out of college because I was gonna be pregnant, and I'm not just pregnant with one baby, I'm pregnant with 2 babies, and my doctor was telling me I was gonna be on house arrest, basically bed rest. So that happened, but you know, I ended up leaving that guy in 2020. But that relationship itself, it was like every day I was being ridiculed. I was being called HOE. Like, every day, anything I posted on social media, he was like, that's that hoe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, what am I posting that's like hoish? Like, what is it? And he was like, the shit you be posting, you know what you be doing. You trying to get these, and you know, like, he white, but he was saying, you know what I'm saying, the N-word. He was like, bro, you trying to get these attention. And I'm looking at him like, what? What attention am I? I'm like, bro, why are you saying that? He was like, you're not even black. I'm like, I understand I'm not black. Well, technically, yeah, I'm African. I was born in Africa or whatever. But that's still disrespectful. Like, you can't say that type of shit in front of my face. Like, that's rude. I take offense to that. And he was like, whatever. So he would always say to me, that I was doing things. I was a whore. I was like name calling me, basically. Physical abuse, of course. Verbal abuse, physical abuse, and controlling. I couldn't go. If I was going out somewhere, he had to be with me. If I was going to go to my culture weddings, he had to be with me, because he was very insecure about me being around men that are in my culture, because we spoke the same language. And like, whenever we went out in public or to a wedding or whatever, and my people were there, all the guys were all over me. I mean, I'm a pretty girl. And he knew what he was getting himself into when he got with me. Like, I'm pretty, I got good personality, and I can dance. A lot of guys in my community love a girl who can dance, who can move them hips. You know what I'm saying? That's what a lot of girls, when we're little, we practice how to dance good so we can attract a good husband. That's all we're taught in the Somali Bantu community. Somali Bantu community. Any like African community, you need to know how to dance good and have good manners and respect your elders to get a husband. That's how we're taught. So to me, it's like, I'm not doing anything wrong, because I love dancing. So it was like everything I did was criticized. Everything I feel like I was back at my mama's house, because like now I can't post my lyrics because I'm a lyricist. I like to post poems or like lyric, like phrase, like a little sentence of a lyric that I came up with. Like, and at that time, I was just beginning to like, you know, I was very promiscuous at 18, 19, and 20. I was very promiscuous. I would always on Facebook. I was always posting shit like, I'm gonna do a trampoline on my dick, like like stuff like that. I'll post stuff like that, And he would just like be like, no, that's disrespectful. It's I'm like, it's not. I'm not saying it to people. I'm just posting song lyrics. Sometimes it be song lyrics from people or song lyrics that I came up with. He just didn't like it. So every little thing I did was ridiculous. And then it was like, it got to a point where I stopped dressing up. Because if I put on lashes and lip gloss and did my hair cute and I went outside of our apartment, he would cuss me out. Because he was outside with his friends one time and I wanted to go get my books. I just checked out new books and I wanted to go grab my books. He was like, I'll go grab it. Give me the fucking keys. So it was like, I was belittled. I felt like a little kid in a corner shivering because their parent is shouting at them. That's how I feel like in that particular relationship. Thankfully, with a stranger's help, I was able to leave him in May 23rd of 2020. I was able to leave this boy and escaping my abuser. And after that, I was good. I was golden. I was great. Everything was good. But that's not where it ended, because the boy ended up following me from Syracuse to Nebraska, because I was in Syracuse at the time. In 2020, I moved to Syracuse to live with my mom, be close to my mom again. And he ended up coming with me. My aunt was like, I'm going to get you a ticket. Let's kick his ass out of the car and let's go take you back to your mama's where he can't see you. But I was so scared, I couldn't risk him hurting my family that was in Omaha. It was stupid of me, I know. But I was 20. I was a kid. I haven't even turned 20. I was only 19 at the time. So he really, like, he got me a fresh start. Because I've never been in a serious relationship like that in my life. I've been in relationships, but I wasn't in like a serious relationship ever. And I was 19 years old. And he abused the hell out of me. Like, mentally, physically, and spiritually. Like, I was not even praying no more. Yeah. Like, you heard it right. So he ends up following me to Nebraska. I then, from living with a narcissistic man, I ended up living with a narcissistic friend after that. It was a group of 3 girls and me, and I was the center of the bullying. Anything I posted, I'll talk about how like, having roommates is not it, because I've had roommates. I've had my best friend who moved in with me at some point when I was in my old apartment, when I was 18, who was not it. She was just not it. I had to kick them out, her and her boyfriend, out of my apartment. So it was not it. And that's when I realized at 18, I didn't like living with other people because people are just so dirty. I hate dirty motherfuckers. Like, I like a clean house. Like, right now, my bed is not fully made, but it's decently made. But to me, it's a mess. And my closet is organized, but it's not as organized as I wish it could be. You know, does that make sense? To other people, when they come in my room, they're like, oh, this is a nice, clean room. No, it's not. I mean, it's clean, yes, it's clean, it's mopped, everything, but it's not to the point where I want it to be. Does that make sense? Yeah. So, like, these girls, I mean, leaving clothes everywhere, and then bullying me, posting about me and stuff, doing slick posts about me, just bullying me for no fucking reason. I was just an easy target. I was a sweet girl. They seen that and they took advantage of that. And it was just like, I feel like I was always, from what I'm saying, now that I've thought, like, literally heard myself speak about my family, my parents, living with my parents, and living with my first ex, I'm starting to see a little bit of a pattern here. You know, I'm an easy target. I was too nice to people, and being a people pleaser. Like, that is what got me to that point in my life where I was ridiculed, I was bullied, I was punished for being loving. I was punished for loving someone, whether it was family, friends, or a partner. I was always punished, and I'm tired of being punished. I don't deserve that type of treatment. But it took me 24 years of my life to know that. During my time staying with those girls, they were actually my cousins. That's the funny thing. Like, that's the fucking sad thing, is that these girls, all 3 of them were related to me some way, somehow. So I was like, what? One was related to me. No, I think they were all related to me on my mama's side. All 3 of them, yeah, they were all related to me on my mama's side, definitely. So after being while I was with those girls for 5 months, I was single. Live my best life, collecting money from these niggas. Period. Use them, don't abuse them. Period. Okay. But I was getting money for these dudes. I was getting cute stuff for them. I was bringing weed and liquor to the house with these dudes. Like, I'll be like, oh, come over, let's hanging out. I was luring dudes in, getting stuff for them. And I learned that tactic on my own. No one really ever taught me that. I don't know. I just wanted to, I was a sugar baby since I was 19 years old. So currently I'm not at the moment, because I got into a relationship, so I'm not a sugar baby anymore. But if I became single, I'm definitely gonna be back to being a sugar baby. Damn right. Fuck. Period. But so I would use these dudes instead of, like, some of them I use them for money, some of them I use them for my stuff, so I didn't have to spend my own money to get my weed and my liquor and shit like that, and my Zans. So but, like, you know, like my Zans and my perks, I would have them pay for it instead of me paying for it. Does that make sense? Yeah. I ended up, in the mix of living in that apartment with those girls, I ended up meeting my second ex-boyfriend. This was a Middle Eastern boy, so we're just gonna call him Habibi. Like, what? So Habibi and I meet because my cousin ends up telling him that I know how to do henna, which I do, period. But she ended up telling him I know how to do henna, and he was asking for his friend. You know what I'm saying? So the friend wanted someone to do her henna for her, and I knew how to do her henna. And that's how I met him. I should have said no that day. If I knew this was gonna happen to me, I would have said no. But it's okay. I digress. So I ended up doing I'm doing his friend's henna, and he just sitting right next to me. The friend's right across from me because I'm doing her henna, and he right next to me. He just looking at me, like, staring at me, mesmerized. The first thing that threw me off was when he came, my cousin threw herself on him, because she always threw herself on all the guys. Any guy that came over, she was throwing herself on him. I don't know if it was like attention seeking. I don't know what it was, but that was some she needed help. But that's what I'm talking about. Like that, she threw herself on him, and I was like, oh. Like me, when a girl throws herself on a guy or touches a guy, automatically girl code, that's her dude. Don't talk to him. So I wasn't talking to him. Apparently, it turned out they were just friends and they almost fucked one time. Whatever, I really don't care. That being said, she all on him, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not really here for that. I don't care. When I was checking out his friend, it was this dark Sudanese fine ass dude. He ended up being cool with me even after me and my ex left. I left my ex, but I was checking out his dark skin. I mean, the boy was as dark as my hair. And I have a thing for Sudanese man with clear skin, with nice almond eyes. Yeah, that was I was checking his friend out. I was checking out the friend. That was like 2020 was when I was trying to be with someone darker shade than me. Period. So I was checking out his friend, and then he ends up talking to me next to me, and I'm just looking at him like, he ends up asking for my number, I think. Yeah, he ends up asking for my number, I think. I'm not sure it was my number on social media. No, it was my number. So then he texted me, telling me he's gonna come back. I'm looking at him like, come back for what? He's like, to hang out with you. I'm looking at him like, no, you're not. The fuck? No, you're not. He's like, damn, it's like that. I'm like, I don't even know you. Why the fuck would I have you come back to hang out with me? It's weird. But I don't know if he ended up, I don't remember that year was a blur to me. It was just so much trauma. But and to speed up a long process as it is, we end up dating each other. I don't know how that like, I'm not even trying to be funny, but like both relationships I've been in that was serious, that I lived with niggas, it was always by force. It was never by intentional. I never wanted to be in a relationship with those dudes ever. He was just not my type. He didn't have money. He didn't even have his own place. Both guys didn't have their own place. Both guys didn't have employment. He wasn't working. I thought he was, but he wasn't. He was just getting money from his parents. I found that out later. So both of them were brokies. Both were homeless. Because the second guy was living with his mother. The Habibi guy was living with his mother. So, and I didn't know that. I found out later on. So both relationships started all off on a lie, and threats. That's how the relationship started. I always got like a weird vibe from the second relationship. Like I felt like I was back in my old relationship, and I just didn't want to be with that dude at all. But he ends up convincing me somehow. I don't fucking know how it happened. To this day, I'll be thinking about it. I'm like, how did that even happen, bro? How did that relationship happen? I'm so confused. But I ended up starting dating that boy, and he is in the first month it was good, but the thing that I didn't like, it was that my cousin whenever I wasn't around, she would be dancing on him, twerking on him, throwing her ass on him, trying to fuck on him. And then she ended up going on she was literally sitting right next to me getting ready to go out with a guy, and I was like, I was helping the girl get ready and get cute to go on a date with my man.
What?
I guess it was their plan to get me jealous, to get me to want to be back with him. It was weird vibes. Like, what the fuck? You my cousin. What? So she gets all cute. I help her pick out her outfit and everything so she can look sexy. I'm thinking she's going out with some other guy. I said, I swear to God, if she comes in this apartment and he right behind her, I'm fucking them both up. So I ended up going out with I ended up bringing another guy. My other guys were like, yo, girl, you should bring one of your little niggas. And I'm like, I should. So I did. He was pissed the fuck off. And then they convinced me that I was the problem. I was at fault for doing what I did, and basically had me beg to get him back. Yeah. So we ended up moving out of that apartment. Those girls, I had to have three cops help me, escort me out of that apartment, because the girl did not want me to move out, because I'm not on the lease. I'm not happy here. I'm not moving. I'm just moving backwards. I'm trying to have my own place, my own car. I can't do that living here when you're all doing drugs all the time. And I feel like Satan lives in that house. Like every time I got drunk, I always left that house. My body hated, like my aura, my energy did not want to be in that house. So I need to get out of this house. What's the quickest way I can leave that house? Through the nigga. My mama always says, use a man until you don't need him anymore. Period. So she's like, when things get tough, use whoever you can use. And I did. I used him to get out of that apartment. I was not in love with that man. I did not want to be with him. I just accidentally ended up being pregnant by him. Fuck. But I miscarried, which is fine. It happens. It's whatever. So I ended up moving out, and we ended up moving in with his mother. And living there was horrible. That's when the abuse started. As soon as I moved into his mother's house, he started slapping me, beating me up. His own mom was scared of him because he put a pew-pew to her head at some point. So she was scared of him herself. She was trying to pull him off of me. Mind you, I'm pregnant. This man beating on me at his mom's house. I fell on the stairs and I bled that day, and it freaked me out. I went to the hospital a little while later. They told me everything is fine, baby's okay, and I was okay. Like, it was bad. It was just so bad. And that's when I realized, never moving with a boy, a man who doesn't show any promising tactics. Like, you have to have your own. You have to have your own financial status. You have to have your own vehicle before you move in with a man. That's what I learned that day. Because I don't backtrack to my other ex. I did move in. We did end up moving in with his mom at some point, and that was terrible too. And I didn't have my own car. I didn't have my own job, and that was terrible. So God was trying to see if I was still stupid. Period. Because clearly I was still dumb. Anyways, so it was constant abuse. Finally, the abuse stopped, I guess, as I got bigger. A little bit bigger. And then I ended up moving us into our apartment and getting myself a car with my tax return. He only paid the amenity fee and a little bit of money we had to pay because it was prorated. That's all he paid, which was like $300. I paid $2,800 to get my car insured and put down payment on the car and move us into our apartment. I did that twice, by the way, with my other ex. That's a story for another time. I'm a ride or die, never again though. The fuck? Never again though. The fuck? So, the car that I bought under my name with my money, I was not allowed to drive. It's like I was back at my mom's house again. I couldn't drive my own vehicle. If I asked for my keys, he'd beat me up or he would yell at me. It would be an argument. He stopped working out. He got fat on me. I don't do fat. You have to come to me fat, but you can't become fat with me. That's just me. Like, if I'm dating a dude and he's already fat when I met him and I fell for him, then I'm fine with that. Like, I don't care. But if I met you and you had an 8-pack, well, he had a 6-pack, but you had a 6-pack or a flat belly, and then all of a sudden now you fat with a big belly, you look more pregnant than me. Yeah, that's nasty. Nah, nigga, you got too comfortable. You're not even 40. He started looking disgusting to me. I lost all interest in him. And I think he felt the energy that wasn't attracted to him no more or something. But he just became worse and worse. And it was like I was being called a H-O-E again. If I post a picture of myself, you always looking pretty. You always post pictures of yourself. It's my face. I wasn't even posting my body. I was just posting my face. It was an issue. And the way it's like, no matter what you wear, you always look sexy. No matter what you wear, your ass always showing. I was wearing hijab with a abaya and everything, bruh. And an abaya. I was dressed like a religious Muslim wife. I don't understand. You know what I'm saying? He was like, I just want to kill you because you look too damn good. I wasn't allowed to speak to his friends or look them in the eyes. But the same friends I wasn't allowed to speak to somehow found my social media when he went to jail. Remember that, backtrack to when I first met him, remember that dark-skinned guy, the Sudanese guy that I was checking out before I started dating the Habibi guy? That same dude hit me up, wanted to hang out, take me out on a date, buy me stuff. Homie, yo homies were on my, when you went to jail. The same homies that you rather hang out with than be with me. That was a funny thing. Like, it was like I was a hostage. I was always in the house. I only left the house when I was with him. When he was at work, I couldn't leave the house. I couldn't even go to the park across the street from my apartment. Because there's too many eyes gonna be looking at me. Again. Because I went from being with a strict mother who didn't allow me to go outside unless she was outside with me, or I was around my neighborhood. I wasn't allowed to sleep over my friend's house unless it was that one friend, because she trusted her family. That was it. I wasn't allowed to drive my car unless she was in the car with me. Same thing with my own vehicle. I wasn't allowed to drive my car. I wasn't allowed to leave my house unless I was with, like, it was like a lot of not allowed to. I wasn't allowed to work either with him, with my second ex. I wasn't allowed to work. Like, I didn't want to work, period. But like, not having a choice to work, especially if you're not making any money, and I don't want to be homeless. I wasn't allowed to work. I wasn't allowed to do anything. I was just a prisoner. And he had a GUN in the house that I didn't even know that there was one. One time I was deep cleaning the house when I was planning my escape, because 4 months before I left him, April 2021. That was the day I planned to, that was the month that I planned to start building up how I'm going to leave him. I ended up leaving him August 16. Ooh, that's my little niece's, my little god baby's little niece's birthday. That's crazy. But August 16, 2021 is when I left my second ex. Like, I wasn't with that boy for a year. I was with that boy for only like 10 months. But I couldn't let it get to a year. I had to leave him. I could not let it get to a year. But it was like, it was eating at me. Like, how dare you beg to be with me and abuse me for being with you? That's the kind of relationships I was in, my past relationships. And I hate that. Does that make sense? My current relationship, that happened because we were both interested in each other. I invited him as a friend, but he had other intentions, clearly. That's how boys are. That's how men are, period. So that taught me, those two relationships taught me one thing. Always have your own money when it comes to being in a relationship with anybody. When you're moving to another state, make sure you got money. I had money, but I wasted it because I was a kid. I was young and I was stupid. But for my young girlies that do watch my channel, who are like 18, 16 and up, don't do it. I know it might be hard living with your parents, but I feel like if I just sucked it up, even though it was like it was bad, but it wasn't as bad as when after I left my mama's house and moved into my own apartment and dealt with the shit that I dealt with the dudes. You know what I'm saying? Just stuck it out. I'm gonna say this is stick it out. You know what I'm saying? And make a game plan on how you're gonna leave. Make sure you got money. You know, do YouTube if you need to. Do TikTok videos and become TikTok famous. Whatever you need to do to find another way of having financial means, do it. But do not leave your home, because it's just gonna leave you astray. And you know, have a game plan. So I had no game plan. Me leaving that shelter, I'll do that story time another time. The story time of how exactly I left my mama's house and exactly what went down, all that stuff. But it was bad. It was unorganized. It was all over the fucking place. And that's probably why I'm such an organization freak, because my life was a wreck, a chaos, a circus since I was little, bruh. It even till currently, it's still a circus. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully next year or the end of this year, my life will become more, you know, clearer. But it was terrible, you know? And I just gotta say this. I know your parents get on your damn fucking nerves. I know they're controlling, but just know this. Just know this. When you save enough money, get yourself a vehicle. Unless it's physical abuse. If it's physical abuse, I would leave. If it's emotional abuse, I feel like try to get counseling at school. Get some help from your school members, you know, the staff in your school. And yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was bad. I was controlled. I was a prisoner. The only way I had to escape those two men was putting them in prison. Not prison, but jail. I had to get those boys to go to jail to get them off my chest. Because they wouldn't leave me alone. Like, they would not leave me alone. Even after I left them, they still found a way to get a hold of me. One used the satellite to realize where I am. And the other one just knew where my mama lived, so he would come up to my mama's house with a GUN in his pocket. Like, sending me requests on my son. He was sending me requests on my son. I have your mother's address. I'm at your mama's house with a GUN in my pocket. You better tell me where the hell you are, or I'm gonna AIL them. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? But yeah, guys, that's all I had to say. This is a documentary. Hopefully, from what y'all heard, y'all can take some key points, key notes on the things you guys can do differently if you guys are ever in that type of relationship or position in your life. Hopefully, you know, never get to experience what I experienced, but you guys will learn from my experiences for sure. Because I'm not gonna let any of my babies deal with that type of stuff. And if you need someone to talk to, please reach out to me. My Instagram, which is gonna be right here. Reach out to me on my Instagram. Let me know, and I'll help you. I'll find a way to help you as best as I can. You know, I might not be able to help financially, but I can at least try to find resources for you within your area, so that way you can leave these relationships. I've helped like at least 30 different girls get out of situations like that, like being in an abusive relationship with men in my past. Since I was like, I think the first time I ever helped a girl escape her abuser was when I was 19. And then I helped another girl leave her while she was 3 months pregnant, leave her boyfriend when I was 21. Literally a month, like 3 months after I left my ex, my second ex, a girl asked for my help and asked how did I escape my exes. So I will be more than happy to give you guys these advices and help you guys navigate this, because I am a domestic violence survivor. So yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. And I just gotta let you guys know, like, these narcissists they come in disguises. They could be family, they could be friends, an associate. Narcissists are everywhere, and you just gotta keep your eyes open and be careful and protect your peace, your energy. If your body, like, you get chills whenever you're next to some person at work, do not talk to that person, because that's how I ended up losing my job. Was I didn't transfer when I had a chance, and now I don't have a job. So I didn't get fired. I got told to resign. I could always reapply, but I'm just telling you guys that trust your intuition, trust your energy source, trust your surroundings, because trust what your body is telling you. Listen to your body, because if you don't listen to your body, you're going to regret it later on. And I should listen to my body a long time ago. But I was so in love with my partner that I didn't want to be away from him for a second. So I decided to stay at that school so I can make things work with him and be able to see him more often, because he didn't have a vehicle, and I didn't like having to pick him up all the time. Now he has a car, but it's just like, even now he has a car, I can barely see his ass. Now I'm at a point where I don't even want to see him that much. Like, it's like, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? So that being said, my lovelies, y'all already know what it is, what it does, what it does, what it does. Okay, I want you guys to go ahead and turn on that post notification bell, cha-ching, cha-ching, because you know you want to see more of my goofiness, because I want to see more of what? You. Period. Okay, guys. I want you guys to go ahead and like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Be part of my beautiful, beautiful babies. Bye. I shine so bright, you might go blind.